Good morning to every student of class 6 who is here to watch this video, and I am happy to welcome you all again to my biology class and for today's zoology class. So in the last class we have started the lesson called as digestive system of chapter 4, and in this class we are going to learn about the organs and glands of digestive system. So today's class will be about the organs and glands of digestive system. So let's get started. So in the previous class we had already studied about the parts of the digestive system, right? What are all the parts? It starts with the mouth first, where partial digestion takes place with the help of teeth, and then the food passes through the pharynx. That is, what is pharynx? The junction between the food pipe and the windpipe, that is the tube from the nose and the tube from the mouth will meet at a common junction called as pharynx, right? Then you have a long tube called as esophagus, and then it will lead to stomach. From the stomach it will go into small intestine and large intestine, and finally the waste of the digested food is released out through the anus, through the rectum. So this all we have studied in the previous class, and already in our last class we have studied the explanation or the detailed structure of the mouth, the pharynx and the esophagus. Do you remember? So in this class we are going to learn about the remaining parts of the digestive system. What are they? The stomach, the small intestine and the large intestine you will be learning in this class. Okay, so we'll start with the stomach first. How can you describe the stomach? We all know, right, about the stomach. We all know we eat daily, and we imagine that digestive system, many of us imagine that digestive system itself is only the stomach. It's not so. All these parts include the digestive system, right? So how can you describe a stomach? A stomach is a expandable sac. What is stomach? It is a expandable sac. Why you call it as expandable sac? You can expand and bring back to its original position the stomach. How? When you eat so much, your stomach is flexible so that it will expand to accommodate so much of food. Okay. At the same time, when you starve, when you don't eat anything, what will happen? The stomach will be in a reduced state, that is the size of the sac or the stomach will become smaller. That's why it is expandable. It can expand as well as it can relax. And where is the stomach here? Let me mark and show you. So here the stomach is this one. Which one? This one is the stomach. Okay, so this can be compared to the shape of J, right? The small J like this. Okay, so this resembles like the shape of the letter J, so it is called as, it is J shaped, and also we have seen it is an expandable sac which is in the shape of J. Then what all you know about stomach? Where it is you should know. Okay, where is the stomach? It is in the abdominal cavity. What is abdominal cavity? Where is your abdomen? See, actually in your chest region you have ribs. Do you know that? The chest region will have ribs like this on both sides. You will have ribs, right? You can touch and feel. So this ribs will stop at some place. Okay, at this region if you touch and see, your ribs will be no more. You will be having a empty cavity, which means there are no bones. You will have a hollow space. So from this space till the pelvic bone, where is your pelvis? In your hip region you can sense two bones, right? In the sides of the hips you will have two bones, that is called the pelvic bone. So this stomach is exactly located below the chest region, that is below the ribs and above the pelvic region. Okay, so where is your stomach? below the ribs and above the pelvic region. Where? Right side or left side? In the left side. So is this right or left? See, for me and for you, no, this is right, right? But for this man, it is left side. So this man is standing like this, right? So where is his stomach? Right side or left side? Left side, right? So that's why it is called as left abdominal cavity. Left side of his, so this is his abdominal cavity, right? So this will be somewhere, his hip bone will be here. So in the abdominal cavity, in between the below the chest and above the pelvic region is the abdominal cavity where you have the stomach. Okay. Then the walls of these what are called walls? Do they have walls like a house or something? Yes, they do have walls. How? What do you call as a wall? See, the inner surface, no, the surface of the stomach can be called as the walls of the stomach. So what is the wall? The surface, the inner surface of the stomach is called the walls of the stomach. Okay. So these walls of the stomach will have a gland. What is a gland? In the title of the lesson itself I have told you, organs and glands of the digestive system. No, what is a gland? Gland is something which can secrete some liquid. Say for example, you have salivary glands, right? So your salivary glands will secrete a liquid called as saliva. Your tear glands will secrete a liquid called as tears. Okay. So similarly, the stomach has walls and the walls have a gland called as gastric gland. What is the name of the gland? Gastric gland is the name of the gland which is present inside the walls of the stomach. So I told you, if there is a gland, it will secrete some fluid or a liquid, right? What fluid this gastric gland secretes? It secretes a juice called as gastric juice. It is not actually juice, it is called as juice, but it will have certain substances. We learn about that. Okay, just it is a liquid like your tear and saliva. Gastric juice is also just a fluid or a liquid like substance. Okay, so this gastric juice contains certain substances. What are all those substances? They contain 4 substances. One is HCl. What is HCl? HCl is hydrochloric acid. Yes, you have acid inside your stomach. That's why sometimes you get acidity all, no? If you have elders at your home, they say, I feel acidic, like acidity I have, they say, no? Why? Because of this hydrochloric acid in the stomach, your stomach sometimes become too acidic in nature. Okay, and also you have so many enzymes. What are enzymes? Enzymes are something which help in the digestion of food. Your bigger particles of food will be broken down into smaller particles with the help of these enzymes. About the enzymes you will be learning more in your higher grades. Okay, and then it has 2 more specific enzymes called pepsin and renin. So these terms all you should remember. What all the gastric juice contains? 4 substances. 1 is hydrochloric acid, 2 is enzymes, 3 is pepsin, again it is a enzyme, and 4 is renin. This is important. So you have something special in renin. What is that? You have something special in renin. Renin is present only in the infants. What is the speciality of renin? Renin is present only in the infants. Why? Renin is a substance which can digest milk. Okay. So next we will study about the structure of small intestine. So the structure of small intestine. Here we have enlarged the small intestine and large intestine for your better view. Okay. So the small intestine is made up of 3 parts actually. So what are they? Before that, see, you can differentiate small intestine and large intestine by 2 ways. Okay. What is small intestine? This region, no, the darkly colored region is the small intestine. Okay. And the outer thick tube, one more tube you have, no, that is called as large intestine. The 2 differences between small intestine and large intestine I will tell you. Okay. Number 1, the small intestine is so much coiled. Coil means it is twisted and turned, and it is a very long tube. Okay, so this small intestine is very much coiled when compared to the large intestine. Okay, this is the first difference. The second difference is small intestine is thin when compared to large intestine. See, you can see the tube as thick one. Now see the outer tube, this is the large intestine, right? So this is the large intestine, and you can see it to be very thick, whereas the small intestine is thin, no, when compared to large intestine. So these are the two differences. So that's why it is given as small intestine. It's a narrow tube. Narrow tube means it is thinner. Okay, and then it is extremely coiled. Coil means it is twisted and coiled and turned in between the or inside the large intestine. Okay, it's a highly coiled structure. Okay, it's not straight, it is coiled. So these are the two differences. Then we will see the types of small intestine or the regions of small intestine. What are the three regions present or three parts present in small intestine? What are they? They are called as duodenum, jejunum and ileum. The three parts are duodenum, jejunum and ileum. What is duodenum? Duodenum is the upper part. See, you have duodenum, this yellow color, jejunum, the middle region, and then ileum, the lower region. Upper region is duodenum, middle region is jejunum, and lower region is ileum. So duodenum, jejunum and ileum are the three parts of the small intestine. Clear? Then you have in the walls of the small intestine, this is the, I told you about the walls in stomach, right? What does the wall of the stomach have? They have gastric gland, right? Similarly, the wall of the small intestine, the wall of the small intestine, say for example, if this is the wall, okay? So if this is a tube-like structure, right? So inside you have the wall of the small intestine. These walls of the small intestine have finger-like projections. It is not smooth like this, but it has finger-like projections like this. Okay, see the photo of that is given. This is the actual picture of the finger-like projections. So like this structure you will have in the, where you will have in the walls of the small intestine. Why you have? Because this finger-like projections, which is called as villi. The name of the finger-like projections is called as villi. It's not villi. You have to term it as, or you have to pronounce it as villi. Okay, villi are finger-like projections, and their function is they help in the absorption of nutrients. See, you eat the food, right? So the food will pass from the mouth to esophagus, then to stomach, and then it will come to small intestine, right? By this time most of the food is digested. Okay, so now the digested food is absorbed into the blood. The nutrients are absorbed into the blood in this villi. Clear? You have digested food, this villi will absorb the nutrients and it will send it to the blood. Okay, so the nutrients are all finally released into your bloodstream. It will be released into the blood. Okay, so which one absorbs from the digestive system? It is released into the blood. Blood is circulatory system, right? Do you know blood is circulatory system? So this is all digestive system. You eat solid food, but at some stage the food is all digested and it is in the form of nutrients which is absorbed by the villi and it is released into the blood. So the presence of villi increase the surface area for absorption. What does that mean? The presence of villi increase the surface area. See, suppose if it is very straight, okay, I told you the function is absorption, right? If you have a small surface, then there is less absorption. Here you have large surface area. Here you have large surface area. How can you call it as large surface area? Suppose instead of this structure, you have a straight structure. Okay, so take a scale and measure this. Say for example, it is 10 centimeters. Okay, if it is I am talking about what will happen if there is no villi. So if you have a straight tube, then it will be 10 centimeters. Okay, at the same time, if you have such a finger-like projections, okay, so instead of this you have finger-like projections like this. So now you take this and stretch it straight. So it will be very long, right? Definitely it will be longer than 10 centimeter if you stretch this area. Take this finger like projection, stretch it, it will have a larger surface area. That's why the presence of villi provides the walls of the intestine a larger surface area. Clear? So when you have a wavy nature, the area becomes greater so that there is more absorption of food. The intestine can absorb more food when you have these finger like projections. Okay, so what have you seen about small intestine? There are three parts of small intestine called as jejunum in the upper area, duodenum in the upper area, jejunum in the middle area, and ileum in the lower area. And then the walls of the intestine, small intestine, will have finger like projections called as villi, and the function of villi is to absorb the nutrients, and they have a speciality, that is they have large surface area for better absorption. So this is all about the small intestine. Next we learn about the large intestine. So large intestine again have three parts like the small intestine. Large intestine also have three parts. Let's see what it is. So what are the three parts of large intestine? So this is the structure of large intestine. The three parts, I told you already the difference between small intestine and large intestine, right? What are they? I told you large intestine is very wide and thicker when compared to small intestine. Small intestine are highly coiled tubes, right? Small intestine are wider and thick tubes. Okay, they are wider and thicker when compared to the small intestine. Okay, so I told you there are three parts in large intestine. What are they? They are called cecum, C-A-E-C-U-M, cecum, colon and rectum. So this is cecum. So this is the cecum, and then you have colon, this is all colon, and this is the rectum. These are the three parts of large intestine. What do you understand by this picture? How is the cecum? Cecum is, where is the small intestine here? It's missing, right? Actually it is connected like this. So you have small intestine, highly coiled small intestine inside the large intestine, and it will be attached to cecum. So cecum, if you need to explain cecum, you can call it as a pouch. Why you call it as pouch? It is like a pouch like structure. No, pouch means a small bag. So cecum is a pouch like structure which connects the small intestine with the large intestine. Cecum connects small intestine with the large intestine. Okay, then you have a part called as colon. This colon has three parts again. This is all colon. Okay, so this is all colon. It is divided into three regions called as ascending colon. So this is ascending colon. So this is ascending colon, this is transverse colon, and this is a descending colon. What is ascending? In maths, you must have studied about ascending numbers, no? What are ascending numbers? If you write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then it is called ascending number. If you write 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it is descending numbers, right? So when you go from the lower value to upper value, it is called ascending, right? So here also this region from here to here, when it goes upwards, it is called ascending colon, and when it comes from up to down, it is called as descending colon. Okay, so in between you have transverse colon, which means a flat area. So what have you studied? Cecum is a pouch which connects small intestine and large intestine. Colon is made up of three parts like ascending colon, transverse colon and descending colon. And finally, you have one more region called as rectum. Rectum, what is rectum? It is the final part of the large intestine and it is attached to the descending colon. Where can you see rectum? It is a continuity of descending colon, right? So this is all about the structure of large intestine. So next we learn about digestive glands. So what are glands? I gave you two examples already, right? So for example, salivary glands produce saliva and tear glands produce tears, and gastric gland produce? Gastric juice, all you know. So what have you understood from that? If there is a gland, it will produce some fluid. Glands always produce some fluid or a juice. Okay. So there are 3 digestive glands in the human digestive system. Okay. What are that? What are they? There are 3 digestive glands. They include the salivary glands, 3 pairs of salivary glands, liver and pancreas. So salivary glands is a gland, digestive gland, liver is also a gland, and then pancreas is also a gland. Okay. So 3 digestive glands are salivary glands, liver and pancreas. So in this slide we will learn about salivary glands, and in the next slide we will learn about liver and pancreas. Okay. So salivary glands, see, I have told you there are 3 pairs of salivary glands. Okay. So where are those 3 pairs? You know now what is saliva? Salivary glands secrete saliva, right? What is saliva? The liquid in your mouth is the saliva. There is a secretion in your mouth, no? That is the saliva. So that saliva comes from 3 regions. Where are those 3 regions? One is nearby your ears. Can you see here? One is here. Where is it? Beneath your ears. So where are the 3 salivary glands? There, beneath the ears, and then sides of the lower jaw. See, you have 2 jaws, right? Upper jaw and lower jaw. This is the upper jaw and this is the lower jaw. So one is beneath the ears, the second pair is in the sides of the lower jaw. So this is the upper jaw. So this is the upper jaw and this is the lower jaw. So on the sides of the lower jaw you have the second salivary gland, and the third salivary gland is below the lower jaw. You have here one, no? So this is the third salivary gland. So from all these glands only saliva is secreted. Okay. So there are 3 pairs of salivary glands. What are salivary glands? They are the glands which will secrete a water called as saliva. How can you describe a saliva? Saliva is watery, right? You can feel it as a liquid. So it is watery in nature. What is it made up of? What it contains? It contains enzymes. It contains enzymes. That's why when you eat the food, half digestion will begin in your mouth itself. Why? Because already your teeth will break the food that helps in digestion, and the saliva has enzymes which will break the bigger food particles into small particles. Okay. Whenever there is an enzyme added, it will break a complex or a big substance into a small substance. That is the function of the enzymes. So this saliva has enzymes called as salivary enzymes, which is particularly called as amylase. You need not learn now, you will be learning in your higher grades. Okay. So saliva has enzymes which will break the big food particles into smaller food particles. So particularly I told you, no, the enzyme amylase will help in the digestion of carbohydrates. Will help in the digestion of carbohydrates and starch. Okay. So what are carbohydrates? The rice what you eat is a carbohydrate. Potato, it's a starch. Okay. So these all are partially digested by these enzymes. Partially means only some of them are digested by the enzymes. The rest others will go to your intestine and stomach, and with the help of acids and enzymes in the stomach and intestine, the rest of the food is going to be digested. So are you clear? So 3 glands, we have studied about salivary glands in this slide. Salivary glands are present in 3 regions near your mouth, where all? Beneath the ears, in the sides of the lower jaw, and then directly below the lower jaw. What is its nature? It is a watery in nature, it is a fluid or a liquid, and it has enzymes called as amylase which can break carbohydrates and starch in specific. So this is about salivary glands. So what we have to study it? We have to study about liver and pancreas, which we'll be studying in the next slide, about liver and pancreas. Okay. So let's see. already we have studied, no, digestive glands are of 3 types. What are they? Salivary glands, liver and pancreas, right? So already we have studied about salivary glands, and in this slide you are going to learn some of the properties of the other 2 glands. What are the other 2 glands? Liver and pancreas. Where is the liver? See, this is the enlarged region of your intestine. Okay, so the digestive system is enlarged and shown here so that you can clearly see liver and pancreas. So where is the liver here? Usually liver is triangular in shape. Can you see a triangle? So this is the liver. Okay, so this is the liver and it is the largest gland. What does this mean? You have many glands in your body. Among all the glands, which is the largest gland? Liver is the largest gland. Okay, and then where is it? Where is the liver? See, this is your stomach. This is the J-shaped stomach. So the liver is above the stomach. It is above, right? It is above the stomach, and then it secretes a fluid. I told you, if there is a gland, it should secrete some fluid, right? That is the property of gland. If there is a gland, it should secrete a fluid, and that fluid is called as bile. So what is the liquid secreted by liver? It is called as bile. So this liver, what it does, it secretes the bile and it will store the bile in a pouch. So where is the pouch? That pouch is called as gallbladder. So this is the gallbladder. This bile is actually greenish yellow fluid. Usually a saliva is colorless, right? You call it as, you do not call it as white, you call it as colorless. But this bile is yellowish green in color. What is the color of bile? Yellowish green in color. So what happens? The liver secretes bile. It is a yellow green fluid, and where is the bile? It is stored in this gallbladder. And whenever there is fat in your intestine, that is whenever you eat fat, this liver will release the bile from the stored bile gland, that is the gallbladder, into the intestine. What does this mean? Whenever you eat, the bile has a property to digest fats. Okay, bile has the property to digest fats. So whenever you eat fat, whenever your stomach and intestine has fat, this liver will secrete the bile, or it will release the bile from the gallbladder. So until that, it will store the bile in the gallbladder, and whenever there is a need to digest the fat, then it will release the bile into the small intestine. So that's why it is given as, it is released into the small intestine. Clear? So what have we studied? Liver is the largest gland. It produces a fluid called as bile. The bile is all stored in a gallbladder. So whenever there is a need, the gallbladder will release the bile into the small intestine. So this is all about the liver. Next we will study about pancreas. Where is the pancreas? You can see pancreas here. It is below the stomach. So where is the stomach? This is the stomach, right? So below the stomach you have pancreas, and above the stomach you have liver. Okay, so this is the pancreas. So what is the shape? It is usually leaf shaped. You describe pancreas as leaf shaped structure. So liver is triangle in shape, pancreas is a leaf shaped structure. Okay, and then what it secretes? So any gland will secrete fluids. So this pancreas secretes a juice called as pancreatic juice. What is it called? Pancreatic juice. Do you remember what juice stomach secretes? Stomach secretes gastric juice, right? The walls of the stomach have gastric glands. They secrete gastric juice, whereas pancreas secretes pancreatic juice, and this pancreatic juice has 4 enzymes in them, 3 enzymes in them given in your book. What are they? They have enzymes to digest carbohydrates, they have enzymes to digest the proteins, and they have enzymes to digest the fats. That is the 3 major nutrients what you eat are carbohydrates, proteins and fats, right? So all the enzymes needed to digest carbohydrates, proteins and fats are present. Where are they present? They are present in the pancreas. Okay, so what have you seen about the pancreas? First of all, how will you identify? If you see a leaf shaped structure, then you can call it as a pancreas. And then where it is present? It is present below the stomach. And then what all they have? They have three main enzymes which are for digesting proteins, carbohydrates and fats. So this is all about today's class, and we'll go into the homework session. So good, many of you are responding to homeworks given. You all send me. I appreciate that. So keep doing your homeworks. Okay. What about today's homework? So before that, let me announce the name of the person who first gave me the right answer for the previous zoology class homework. It is Geoprey. Okay, so Geoprey sent me the first right answer for the previous zoology homework. So good, and the answers for the previous homework is given below. If you have written wrongly in your textbook, please do correct with the right answers. Okay, and for today's homework you will be doing this one, that is page number 53. Questions 4 and 5 you are going to solve for today's homework. So whatever I have taught from that portion only, your homework is given, right? So you can try to solve, or if you are in doubt you can read the book and then you can solve. So page number 53 in your biology book, questions 4 and 5 is for today's homework. So as usual, do the homework and send me the right answer, and the first person who sends me the first right answer, I will announce the name like this in my next zoology class. Okay, so this is all for today's zoology class, and until I meet you in your next botany class, you all take care and bye bye.